Hi guys, it's Evelyn here again. Welcome back to another quick session on sneak previews of what's coming up in the Leadership Evolves event. So this recording here is talking about the 4 different energy types. We're going to move into this in more detail at the upcoming event, and then deeper into another expansion of that, which is 9 different types. But for right now, I'm just going to give you a very basic overview of the 4 types, which is really important. It's important because what you want to do is start exploring why you do what you do. So for now, let's start with some basics, begin to understand how to influence the decision makers that we deal with each and every day. In this program, you're going to learn many new and exciting things about how we continue to build on our relationships, and also take into consideration other videos that you might have seen of mine in earlier sessions, which is critical levels of thinking, universal fears, and NLP, and cause and effect, and you can recall those now. So what we wanted to do is look at here the 4 energies that are important for you to understand. But before we do that, I want to get into a bit of a story for you. It was the first day of a new season, and the coach told his players he wasn't going to talk about winning or losing, because they were simply a result of preparation. So the coach was a wise old sage, preferring the team to become the best team they could possibly be through tapping into their own potential. And the message communicated was that success in life isn't just about how powerful you are or how much stuff you have. It's about finding peace of mind in the knowing that you are the very best you can be. So this coach truly believes from the heart that harnessing excellence, physical condition, skill, and team spirit was in fact the correct preparation. So this is a program that's really going to give you some improvement in your life, in your career, in your skills. And as you sit there watching, listening, decide it's time to reach out and walk through the path of opportunity. Learn what you need to learn. And I have to confess that as you listen closely, you will learn faster, and you can feel more confident about what you're learning and about who you are and why you do what you do. Listening alone helps you understand more and more. You can explore these global beliefs. What we're going to look at is another way to establish the top drivers of why you do what you do. And we do that now through exploring the different forces of energy in personality types and in the human core needs. So we have 6 core needs. Of course, this came initially from Anthony Robbins. And my intention here is to give you enough information so you can kind of guess with reasonable accuracy where you sit on the DISC quadrant and help you determine your behavior types. What is your energy? Immerse yourself in the discovery of this thing called DISC. You'll be so glad you did. We can explore that now. And just before we do that, I just want to say, this is really important to get a clear understanding of what drives you. What are your top 2 drivers? You see, your top 2 drivers, really important. They pretty much explain the reason why you do what you do and why you don't do what you don't do. Whatever that thing might be, whatever the goal is. I've worked with a number of people in my coaching career, and many with similar issues, or stuff around their careers. This one particular young woman comes to mind. Her problem was that she consistently changed her jobs, careers. She was job hopping and dipping her toe into the various different industries also. Some of the jobs she changed into were kind of dead-end jobs, and while the other jobs she changed into had some high potential in them. So the 4 core needs basically, an example. She's been packing, this young woman, she's been packing in a warehouse, for example. She's been she's been driving buses. She's ventured into sales roles in the transport industry. And she's like really been filling her need for variety in all of these different roles. The reason why she came to me was for coaching was she's completing her training now in becoming a real estate agent. And she didn't want this course to be another one of those things that she didn't utilize or didn't stick with. So in other words, she was afraid she was not going to commit to this newfound journey of hers of helping people to make really important decisions in their life. Work with perhaps their biggest asset. For some people, it is the biggest asset of their life, and enjoy making money while doing it. So she decided this was what she wanted to do, and her concern was, is she going to do what she's done before, time and time again, sort of dabble for a little bit and then leave it? And what's fascinating was when I started coaching her, I asked her about her top 2 drivers. And you can do this too. It's very, very basic. And you can follow a process. The process is quite easy. So let's say you're in management and working at developing your team. So you're being their coach, speaking to them individually. So one of the things that you want to do is you want to be looking at their top 2 of the 6 core needs. Then list the remaining 4 in priority. Also, be listening for their values as well. This is an activity you'll do at the Leadership Evolves workshop, so you'll get to better understand your own type here. In the meantime, with levels 1 to 4, you prioritize them in order of importance. So the top 2 being the most important. Another way you can do this is by asking, if you only had the choice of one, certainty or variety, which one would you choose? Then you can combine them all in various combinations. So for example, if you could only have one, certainty or significance, which would it be? If you could only have one, certainty or love and connection, which would it be? Then just go on and combine and do all the other ones in there as well in the different patterns. So what you're doing here is you're comparing all of the different needs in different probabilities in order to determine who is driven by variety, for example, as a core need. We'll unpack this, as I said, a little more later on. You also want to look at their values, guys. Now, we're going to do a whole session on values. So remember, this is just an intro to this particular segment of the event coming up. Have them list their top 10 values first, then have them reevaluate them in their top 5 values. Now, you'll soon discover easily and effortlessly that their core needs are, in fact, what their core values are. Very often, salespeople, their top value is variety. In other words, what can be happening with these people, like in this young girl's case I was coaching, is they immerse themselves in jobs that are safe, reasonably secure, and are well within their skill set. Therefore, the job was saturated in certainty and predictability. Sure, the first weeks in the role, even in the packing role, the first 2 or 3 weeks, or even the first month, there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of variety, because of it's unfamiliar, and the actual warehouse, wherever it was that job that you were in. So whatever is unfamiliar would be in that work, okay, and that's variety. Within a matter of a short time, with 4 or 5 weeks, you're in the swing of it, and it's pretty much the same old, right? So it's repeating itself over and over again. So she was immersing herself in jobs that were quite heavily driven by predictability. She was replicating things over and over again, sameness. But in other words, those jobs were driven by certainty. She, on the other hand, was a girl who bases her decisions on variety. So what happens is you'd get sick of that job, and then you go out and find something that's totally different. As a result, she became like a Jill of all trades, if you like, and a master of none. Here she was sitting in my coaching hot seat, and we were all having a conversation when she discovered that her top driver was variety. And it really came home for her when I shared with her, she was actually now finally invested in a direction of a career that has inbuilt variety, because it's what sales is about. Yeah, it has its challenges and its uncertainties. In other words, there are lots of inbuilt varieties in her chosen career, in her direction. As far as connection is concerned, which is her number 2 driver, I said to her, you couldn't have picked a better role, than sales, because the ultimate heart-to-heart conversations you can have with people in their homes makes a big difference in your life and in their lives. Some of the biggest decisions of their lives are made in that lounge room. So this is where you make connection on many different levels, spiritual, mental, and in many other ways. So she absolutely was thrilled and relieved that finally she kind of stumbled across a career that inherently fulfills her top drivers of variety and connection. It shows in her face. When she realized this, not only was there an immense relief, there was an incredible joy and excitement about it. Not because this was a new direction, it was because she could finally see that what I was saying was accurate, in a sense that this is going to be lots of variety for her. And every presentation is totally different from the previous one. So it's like my training. Every room is filled with different people. No 2 training sessions are the same. There's going to be inherent challenges in enhancing your performance. Absolutely. Whether you're working for yourself or you're working for someone else, it's a great idea to consider you're working a business within a business. I'm sure you've heard that before. So you're going to be working for yourself or maybe someone else. That's got its own inbuilt challenges and also inbuilt variety and huge rewards too. So as I said, whatever industry or job you're in, if you're in sales or a service-oriented business, then you are in a discipline that is quite heavily satiated in connection. And what was fascinating was, for many, many years, I think it's something like 15, 20 years, and she did not know that her driver was variety and connection. Yet she kept finding herself in career directions or jobs that were driven by certainty. And that's the reason why she kept skipping from one to the other and not even realized what variety and connection as a driver meant for her. So in other words, by skipping jobs, by changing jobs every few months or few years, it was fulfilling her need for variety. What she was starved for was to find the ultimate career in her world, which was a career built with variety. Now, this is how important these top 2 drivers are, because it goes a long way to explain all the things that have worked out and not worked out for you in your life, in the various parts of your life, both personal and professional. And this is really, really key. So do yourself a favor and your team. This is a really great way to determine what your core needs and values are. If you can't make the face-to-face training workshop, that's okay. Do that exercise I showed you earlier on. Honestly, score yourself for each need in each part of your life, in the various parts of your life, professional and personal. For example, you might look at your current career direction and honestly score yourself out of 10 for certainty, variety, significance, and for the whole of the 6 needs. When your score drops, let's say below 6 or 5 in any of those core needs, that's definitely where for the most part, you would be needing to focus and improve yourself. So for example, if in your career path, your score is, let's say, 4 out of 10 for significance, you know that you feel that somehow you're not being recognized. And it could be any number of things, by the way. It could be that you're lacking recognition. It could be that you haven't been validated in your position. It could be that you are in the wrong job. In other words, you are not good at it, or you kind of suck at it, right? So it could mean that you don't get to fulfill your need for significance because you're not good enough to be recognized for it. That could be the reason. Other reasons could also be, so you might be really good at what you do, but you're not getting recognition from above for your achievements. So if significance is a low score, that would be the reason. Something along those lines, perhaps. We can talk about it at the event. What about certainty? What if you rate yourself below, let's say, 6 for certainty or security? Well, that tells you that there's a gap that you need to close in your career, if that's the case. Let me give you an example. If your certainty is like 4 out of 10, then that could be anything to do with you matching your skill set to the job. Because one of the ways to meet your goal for certainty, let's say 10 out of 10, is by backing yourself. So that could be some clue that there is a little lack, if not a lot, lack of self-belief or something like that. So look at it like this. Whatever score, whatever need, if you score yourself, let's say 6 or less out of 10, it's given you the pathway, the doorway into exactly where you need to focus. If you are committed to that particular direction, that particular job, or that particular part of your life, then I trust that you will do this exercise for yourself. I trust this is making some sense for you. That wise old sage had some valuable lessons to share with this young and mature rising stars. And those lessons hold true for our own success as well in living a productive and indeed a meaningful life. Essentially, there is so much value in preparing yourself and acquiring the life skills to be able to figure out how to become the very best version of you possible. I look forward to meeting you all and sharing more insights with you at the Leadership Evolves event. Ciao for now.